Good morning everyone. This video is for the students of class 12 subject economics. In this video we shall read our chapter number 7, that is aggregate demand, aggregate supply and related concepts from our macroeconomics book, and this is my lecture number 2 for chapter 7. In this video we shall discuss two topics. First, aggregate supply, and second, consumption function. So first is aggregate supply. What is aggregate supply? First of all, aggregate supply can also be written as AS. It refers to aggregate production as planned by the producers during an accounting year, or we can say whatever the producers are planning to produce during an accounting year, that is known as aggregate supply. It implies the flow of goods and services in the economy during an accounting year. Okay. Now, as I told you that it is a planned production. Okay. Producers plan it. So, aggregate supply refers to only planned production or desired production during an accounting year. It does not refers to actual output. Okay, it is just a planned production. As aggregate demand is a planned demand, in the same way aggregate supply is a planned production. Okay, it is not actual output. Now, what is desired production? This is what the producers desire to produce during an accounting year. Okay. So aggregate supply refers to desire production or whatever the producers desire to produce during an accounting year. This is aggregate supply. Now just have a look on this table showing the relation between income and aggregate supply. When the income is zero, aggregate supply is also zero. Okay, means at the level of zero income, producers are not producing anything. Okay, when income increases to 20, producers also increase their supply to 20. Similarly, when income is 40, supply increases to 40. Income increases to 60, supply also increases to 60. 80, 80, 100, 100, 100, 120 and 120. Okay, so we noticed that with the increase in income, aggregate supply is also increasing. That means there is positive relation between income and aggregate supply. Now we shall study aggregate supply through this curve. On y-axis, aggregate supply is shown, and on x-axis, income is shown. Okay, so if you noticed, then income is equal to aggregate supply. Okay, in table also we noticed that income is equal to aggregate supply. As income increases, aggregate supply also increases. Okay, so that is why this is a 45-degree line showing aggregate supply curve. Okay. Now, through this diagram and through the table, we notice that identity between income, that is Y, and aggregate supply, that is AS, shows that producers in the economy are ready to supply or sell all that they wish to produce. Okay, it means that through aggregate supply curve and through the table, we notice that whatever the producers are producing in the economy, they are ready to sell all that amount. Okay, all of that. Now the question arises, why do the producers wish to sell or supply all that they wish to produce? Okay, now the question arises, why the producers are wishing to sell all the amount that they are producing? This is because there is excess capacity in the economy. What is excess capacity? Excess capacity in the economy is due to unemployment. Okay, unemployment in the economy, there is always unemployment in the economy, which leads to lack in demand. Now whenever there is employment in the economy, there will be rise in demand. Okay, so accordingly, whenever there is rise in demand, the producers respond to it by planning an equal rise in supply. So to meet that rise in demand, producers plan an equal rise in supply so that they can meet the rising demand, which is created due to excess capacity in the economy. Okay, now you have to note one thing, that a proportionate increase in AS correspondence to any increase in AD leads to a constant price level in the economy. Means if there is a proportionate increase in aggregate supply with increase in aggregate demand, there will be no effect on price of the economy, price level of the economy. Why? Because if demand will increase and supply will also increase, then what will be the effect on price? Effect on price is in that condition when demand is increasing and supply is not increasing, or when demand is decreasing and supply is increasing. Only in that condition there will be effect on price. But if there is proportionate increase in aggregate supply and according to the increase in AD, that will lead to a constant level price level in the economy. So that price has no role to play as the determinant of AS. And that is why it is said that in macroeconomics model as suggested by Keynes, price has no role to play as a determinant of aggregate supply. Okay. Now, why should we presume or assume that there is excess capacity in the economy? Now the question arises, why do we assume that there is excess capacity in the economy? This in fact is the basic assumption of macroeconomic model as propounded by Keynes. Okay, this is the basic assumption. He made this assumption because he was dealing with economies facing severe unemployment. So why did he made this assumption? Because during his time he faced unemployment, and such economies must have excess capacity or unutilized capacity, okay, because of lack of demand. Thus we can say that AS identify with income. Okay. Now we shall discuss consumption function. In our last lecture when we were discussing aggregate demand, I told you about consumption, that aggregate consumption is a very important component of aggregate demand. Okay, so C, that is consumption expenditure, is an important component of AD, that is aggregate demand. Higher level of income refers to higher level of consumption. Okay, as income increases, consumption will also increase. There is positive relation between income and consumption. Consumption cannot be zero. Even when income is zero, there will be a minimum level of consumption for survival. Consumption can never be zero, even when our income is zero, because we have to incur some expenses for our survival. That's why consumption can never be zero. And when consumption is not zero, or we can say when consumption when income is zero, at that time we say that is C bar, that is autonomous consumption. So the functional relationship or algebraic relationship between C and Y, that is consumption and income, is called consumption function. Okay. Now let's have a look on consumption function through this tabular presentation. When income is 0, our consumption is 20. This is autonomous consumption, which is referred or denoted by C bar. Okay. When income increases to 50, our consumption also increases to 60. There is positive relation between income and consumption. Okay. When income increases to 100, our consumption is equal to income, that is 100. And when income increases to 150, consumption increases to 140, but at a less rate in comparison to income. Okay, why? Because after reaching a particular point, that is 100, okay, here 100 income, there is 100 consumption, but after this point we start saving. Okay, We start saving. That's why consumption increases but at a decreasing rate. Now have a look on consumption function through this diagram. On y-axis C, that is consumption, is denoted. On x-axis Y, that is income, is denoted. Okay, if you noticed, then in starting, this is income curve, that is a 45-degree line, and consumption starts from 20. This point is autonomous consumption. When income is 0, consumption is 20. Why? Because our consumption can never be 0, because we need to expend something for our survival. Now consumption is above the income curve. Okay, you can notice that consumption is above the income curve because initially, or we can say in starting, our consumption is more than our income. Okay, consumption is more than income, as when income is 0, consumption is 20. Now at point B, consumption and income is equal to 100 and 100. This shows break-even point. So what is break-even point? The point at which consumption is equal to income. That point is known as break-even point. Now beyond this point, people start saving something. So consumption curve is below the income curve. Okay. So this is the consumption function, a diagrammatic presentation. Now what do we observe from this table and diagram? First thing that we observe is there is always some minimum level of C. There is always some minimum level of consumption even when income is 0. And this is called autonomous consumption, which is represented by C bar, and this leads to negative saving. Okay. Now consumption is positively related to income. Okay, other thing that we noticed is there is positive relationship between income and consumption. That indicates that if income will increase, consumption will also increase. If income will decrease, consumption will also decrease. Third thing that we noticed is the entire increase in income during a particular period is not converted into C. Okay, means after reaching a certain point, or we can say after reaching break-even point, the entire income is not converted into consumption. A part of it is also saved. A part of it is saved as well. So that the rate at which C increases often lags behind the rate at which Y increases. Okay. Now we shall discuss slope of C line, or we can say slope of consumption function. It refers to rate at which C or consumption increases in response to given increase in income. Okay, it is the rate at which consumption increases in response to increase in income. It indicates the proportion of additional income that goes to consumption, or we can say this is measured as the ratio between change or increase in consumption and increase in income. And this is also known as marginal propensity to consume, or we can say MPC. Now if you notice the table which was discussed earlier, then in income there is increase of 50, and in consumption there is an increase of 40. So MPC is equal to increase in consumption, that is 40, and divided by increase in income, that is 50. Okay, so the answer is 0.8. So what is the slope of C line? Slope of C line is 0.8, that is MPC. Now let's have a look on slope of C line through this curve. On y-axis consumption is shown, and on x-axis income is shown. If you notice that consumption curve is starting from 20, because this is the minimum level of consumption when income is 0, or we can say autonomous consumption. Okay. Now at point this is the break-even point when consumption is 100 and income is also 100. Beyond this break-even point, our consumption goes to 40. 140. Okay, and our income goes to 150. So this is 40 and this is 50. So increase in income is 50, increase in consumption is 40. If we will divide that, we will get 0.8. So this is the slope of C line, 0.8. Okay. Now, I told you that slope of C line or slope of consumption function is also known as marginal propensity to consume. Now, APC, what is APC and what is MPC? Okay, APC is average propensity to consume. MPC is marginal propensity to consume. What is APC? It is the ratio between total consumption and total income. That is C upon Y. And what is MPC? It is the ratio between additional consumption and additional income. Okay, that is increase in consumption divided by increase in income. So when Y is equal to 150 and C is 140, APC will be 140 divided by 150, that is 0.933. But what will be the MPC? That is change in increase in income, that is 50, and increase in consumption, that is 40. So MPC is 40 by 50, that is 0.8. Okay. So these both APC and MPC are different concept. APC is average propensity to consume. MPC is marginal propensity to consume. Average propensity to consume shows the ratio between total consumption and total income, whereas marginal propensity to consume shows the ratio between additional consumption and additional income. Now we shall study algebraic presentation of consumption function. It is denoted by C is equal to C bar, that is autonomous consumption, plus B, that is MPC, marginal propensity to consume, or we can say slope of C line, into Y, that is income. Okay, C bar refers to minimum level of consumption, that is autonomous consumption, consumption at zero level of income. B, small b, refers to the rate at which C increases in response to an increase in income. It is change or increase in consumption divided by increase in income. Okay, it is the slope of C function, which is also called marginal propensity to consume, or we can say MPC. See, this is the consumption function tabular presentation. Okay, now the consumption function is given by C is equal to C bar plus B, that is marginal propensity to consume, into Y, that is income. Okay, so what is C bar? When income is 0, our autonomous consumption is 20. Okay, so C bar is 20. What is B? That is slope of C function, C line, or we can say marginal propensity to consume, that is change in consumption divided by change in income. Okay, so it is given by 0.8 and this is Y, that is income. So when Y is 0, okay, if we will put 0 here instead of Y, then we will get 20. So consumption is 20. When Y is 50, consumption is 60. When Y is 100, putting the value, we get consumption 100. When Y is 150, if we put the value of Y in the equation, then we will get consumption as 140. So this is the algebraic presentation of consumption function. I hope these two topics, aggregate supply and consumption functions, are clear to you. Your homework is you have to read page number 181 to 187 of macroeconomics, and on the basis of your understanding you have to answer this question. Explain the concept of consumption function. Okay, according to 6 mark question you have to do it.